What up, gamers? Welcome to Drop In, Drop Out Pod, the weekly podcast where a mix of 7 gamers come together for an open and engaging conversation all about video games. Tonight, we're fixing Mario Kart and we're yearning for Donkey Kong. And today is a special episode because it's just Jake Coggin, baby. Cognitive Clips, how are you tonight?
I am good, buddy. How you doing today?
I'm doing really well. I'm happy to be here with you. I think we're going to have a really fun conversation about 2 of my favorite subjects. Well, really just one of my favorite subjects in the world. You know, Nintendo.
Pauline.
Well, you make a very good point. This will be Pauline-centric, but a different Pauline. More on that soon. Pog, I wanted to start things off a little differently today. And I wanted to ask you about collecting. All right? Because if you look around me right now, collecting. Okay. I want to pick your brain because, God, we're recent friends. We're both, gentlemen of a certain age, of course. And we've lived lives prior to now that neither of us were informed on. I don't know what you were up to before this. And I have opened a new chapter in my life where I am collecting Final Fantasy Magic cards in a very big way. And it has me reminiscing on some of the things that I used to collect. So I wanted to pick your brain and see if you ever collected anything.
Yeah, definitely. So I got a kick a few years back. I can't remember exactly what year, but started picking up some of those Marvel Legends figures.
Oh, yeah.
Started with just Gambit because obviously Gambit's the GOAT. I will not be taking questions on that. And eventually it was kind of like, ooh, but that one looks kind of cool too. What about that one over there? It got a little bit out of control, just as far as like I don't know having where to put them. Like, not that I was like going in debt over and like that, but I kind of whittled it down to just being like 99% of the ones I'm getting in the past year and a half, 2 years are just different variations of Spider-Man because he's always been one of my favorites. Yeah, so obviously if I knew I got the X-Men 97 Gambit too, didn't even open that one. That's like sick. NIB, hanging on the storage wall back there. But even back in the day, I would pick up comics and stuff. I would pick up, Pokemon cards. Comics have been kind of on and off throughout the past 15 years or so. I'll like go on for a few years and go off and go on for like a few months and go off again. But yeah, so a lot of sporadic collecting throughout my life.
Yeah, I mean,
I'll have to send you some pics sometime of the Spidey collection back there because it's pretty gnarly.
I want some pics, baby. Collecting is so weird because for me, I have these really distinct phases in my life of my interests. And then the low-hanging fruit on a video game podcast, obviously, is, well, we all collect video games in some way, or at least getting our digital collection or our physical collection. And that's always going to be a layup. I'm looking at chat right now, and they're listing off, if you haven't already, list off what you collect. I see Eula in here. I see Coal Mines. I see High Score Weekly. I see Red Dragon. I see our very own Dumpster Boy. I see Noah_C92. Absolute legends left and right. Heroic Headgear is here as well. I have almost every amiibo at this point, but had to stop, says High Score Weekly. I collect Bakugan figures, which is pretty rad. What else you guys got in there for collections? When I was a kid, I was obsessed with Ninja Turtles, and I didn't realize I was collecting at the time, but I had a massive collection of figures. And then I kind of turned a page and I got really into Power Rangers, and that was my thing for a long time as well. And then sometime when I was like 10 or 11 years old, I got really into gaming. And then basically all of my like wish lists, and if we were at the mall and I could get one thing, it was like, can I get $20 to spend at EB Games, Dad? And it was it was all
EB Games.
Oh yeah, software, etc. Babbages. I'm going to Circuit City and I just need $20.
I still remember when like my local mall had the EB Games, and then eventually a GameStop opened, and I was like, GameStop? What is? No, we got EB Games over here. And then of course,
I was an EB Games guy.
Correct me if I'm wrong. I believe EB Games still exists in Canada, just not
Canada, and I think other international areas too. I want to say, but I think they're all owned by GameStop. The name was bigger there. I'm not really sure.
Oh, okay, gotcha. That's disappointing.
They started just rounding up all of those different places. It was like Funkoland, Babbage's. There was like a PC game store, EB Games, and software, etc. All just kind of became GameStops after a long time. And then they did that funny thing where they converted all of them to GameStops. So there would be like 2 GameStops right next to each other. And they're like, no, we're keeping them all open. And they shut one down 3 months later. Very cool. Very cool.
I don't know how widespread they are, because sometimes you assume something's nationwide and you find out that it's only like regional. But there's a Thornton's is like a gas station that's in my area. And whenever I was first moving to Louisville, there was literally 2 Thorntons across the street from one another because of something like that, where they like, I guess, bought out. And so it's literally across the street, like caddy corner from one another. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, a classic. And when you go to big cities, you see Starbucks across the street from each other all the time, which is not too uncommon, but it depends on the type of thing going on. Look at our chat filling up. I see Mr. Treehorn. I see Cirrus Shard. I see our very own Kayla Gray, and I see Willow's Wanders. What a squad. What a squad. Who up fixing their cart? Let's get down to the nitty gritty, Cog. I want to pick your brain on one more thing. I know we're off the rails already. We haven't talked about either of our subjects, and I don't plan to. You, you are the only person prior to this very moment that has ever been on a 2-person podcast due to my folly months back, where it was just you and Maury for Dido. And I mean, you know, JK Games does their solo thing all the time, just the duo thing all the time. And there's been plenty of Spotlight Games podcasts that are that way. But Dido has only had 2 shows. And as I talk to you like this, just one-on-one, it makes me want to have like a series within a series. This is what I'm pitching right now. Okay. Drop in, drop out when we're rolling like we are. This week, it made sense to go with what we had talked about because Donkey Kong just had their big Nintendo Direct. It was amazing. And then you also have the big Mario Kart topic that we've been talking about over a couple weeks that I'm excited to get to today. But part of me wants to just do this for like an hour and a half, 2 hours, and like just see where the night goes. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how much Metroid can we talk about? What can we theory craft for the future of Nintendo? What's your favorite movie of all time? Did you have a crazy experience growing? Like, you know what I mean? Like, just shoot the shit and just have like a one-on-one conversation. I pitch it as an evening with Jake Twitchin, episode 1, Cognitive Clips. What do you think?
I'm into it. Pivot. We're gonna pivot.
New subjects next week. P-Swag and Kayla are talking about Mario Kart and Donkey Kong Bananza. Very topical. Very topical. Right. Yes. Right when striking when the iron is hot, as they say.
That's what we do around here.
In. People are sounding off. They love this idea.
Yeah. Because like we obviously love the having 3-4 people on for the most part. Most part is in most episodes, not as in like we hated that one. Like we like having that group and bouncing off each other back and forth, and like we all obviously like love each other. But yeah, there was something special about it was an accident. You weren't able to be there, but then me and Moore just got to like really dive deep into a couple of different things. It was like that was kind of cool. Like I see why, Spotlight and JK did that for so long.
Yeah, there's something to it. I think it's interesting to have these little like splinter off like skeleton crew things. And, there's so much that we talk about behind the scenes and inside baseball stuff. But the idea of like, obviously we're going to talk about Donkey Kong this week. But on the chance that there's an off week, like who's to say that we can't go rogue and talk about whatever we want? I think it'll be a fun time.
Rogue Nation.
Mission more like Mission Possible. I'm so sorry.
Did it
right? Exactly. Listen, this is housekeeping section. We're drop in, drop out. You can find us at Drop In, Drop Out Pod wherever you find podcasts. Go to dropindropoutpod.com at Drop In, Drop Out Pod on all social networks because you can get all sorts of sweet banter like this across the internet. And let me tell you, it's fucking fantastic what we're doing over here. JK Games. We got Drop In, Drop Out. We got Spotlight Games. We got streams. We got video essays. It's happening everywhere. And I just want to make sure that you're all following us wherever we are. And wherever you're not, make an account and follow. Leave a goddamn review. I'm just kidding. Our 2 topics, I feel like it makes sense to lead with Donkey Kong Bananza tonight because of how hype I am off of it. It was yesterday morning that we saw the Nintendo Direct and we've had some time to sit on it. We'll get into like the meat of our discussion with Mario Kart about halfway through the show. But for right now, let's talk about that big event. Did you watch it in the morning? You're an early riser.
Yeah, so I was at work, which is usually not that big an issue. I can usually kind of multitask a little bit, but I had like a one-on-one that was like meeting about something one of our studies, and then I was like, oh, it's 9 a.m. Eastern right now. So I kind of caught the tail end of it, and then went back and watched the Jake Twitchin reaction on youtube.com/@JakeTwitchin.
Mm-hmm.
I think. I don't even know. I don't know your URL. Sorry.
That's the one.
Probably. Good. And yeah, it was real good. That was a real good direct.
It was unbelievable. I think on the heels of the Mario Kart direct, which was so much more like reiteration on what we kind of already knew and expected, there might be like a couple reveals where there was like an interesting little fact, or we saw a course we hadn't seen yet and they dove deep. But let me tell you, this one had reveals on top of reveals. And the big one, of course, the elephant in the room tonight, was Pauline being revealed as your permanent sidekick in the game.
Yes.
Where do you stand on this?
I think it's cool. I don't, outside of High Score Weekly's videos, I don't know too much about, the lore of Donkey Kong and Pauline and all that. And that was a really cool reveal. I remember it kind of leaked, didn't it? Like somebody had seen somewhere that The Rock was going to be her, or some sort of switcheroo was going to happen. So It wasn't a total shock or anything, but the way they pulled it off, like I love the design of all the characters in the game, including little teen Pauline. And yeah, their little dynamic is so cute. Like there's no other word for it. It's just adorable.
It's absolutely adorable. It's very precious. You're right about the leaks. So I believe it was like Nintendo's official Brazilian channel uploaded the wrong key art for a brief moment, and people scraped it back when the initial announcement happened, and people saw that basically the key art that was released for Donkey Kong Bananza that we've been looking at for the last 3 months since the Nintendo Switch 2 event back in February, I think, where they kind of revealed everything that was coming, was Donkey Kong kind of diving into action with that little rock thing on its shoulder.
Rock,
and that key art has been replaced by Pauline, who is in there. So the actual game art is going to be different than what we were initially shown, ever so slightly, of course. People chalked that up to like, oh, was it a mistake? But then they looked and like Pauline was wearing the bracelet that matched the rock. So it looked like that was going to be the case. And people started to speculate, there's only so much you can grasp from that. Is Pauline the character? Were there going to be rotating characters? Is Pauline going to be playable? What does this mean for the game? And I think there's still some mystery to be there, but we knew that rock was pretty influential with like music from that preview in the Nintendo Treehouse Live. So seeing Pauline come in and take the place of the rock and be such an integral part to like the story.
She replaced Dwayne Johnson, to be clear.
She did, yeah, finally. And will be doing so in professional wrestling going forward as well. But
finally,
I really, really like this pivot. And I think that Pauline is going to be such an interesting character to have as like a permanent fixture going forward in a much bigger way. Because you've played Mario Odyssey, correct?
Yes, I did. I wrote
all the way through. Yeah. Okay. So New Donk City.
Oh yeah.
And the jump up superstar moment.
So good. So good.
Unbelievable. Like one of the best moments in video games. And I think like if you take the whole City Hall section with Pauline and Mario and jump up superstar out of that game, I think that game for me drops like an entire point score. Like that carries so much for me. It is such a special moment in gaming that was so unexpected to have it be such a departure from what we came to expect as like a Mario fans. Like we have never had like a musical moment like that. And there's another one towards the end of the game that's a little less Pauline centric, but nonetheless, I'm really excited to see them kind of double down on this because Pauline is such a forgotten character. So Eula in chat asked, who exactly is Pauline? And Pauline is, if I recall correctly, Pauline is the original character in, I think I might have it fucked up, but it's like, I think Daisy was in Super Mario Land, but she was the original Shorty that was like being captured by Donkey Kong in the original Donkey Kong game. where
High Score Weekly. You should
Jumpman,
check out High Score Weekly's Instagram, everybody. Maybe TikTok. I'm not sure, buddy. Sorry. You can drop it in your chat. I see you in there. But you kind of broke down a little bit. So yeah, the original Donkey Kong arcade game that had Jumpman, which would become Mario. Pauline was the character who Donkey Kong had like taken captive. It wasn't Peach. It was Pauline, except she was blonde.
And they kind of play off of that in New Donk City in the Jump Up Superstar thing, where you're kind of like scaling the old style like scaffolding Donkey Kong game. And it seems like what they're doing now is recontextualizing that story, or perhaps just telling it again, or giving us a prequel origin story to some form of that. There's some very interesting Miyamoto interviews. I was looking at one from I think 2012. I forgot what it was promoting from Game Informer, where Miyamoto talked about like the lore of the Koopalings. This is a topic very near and dear to my heart. As you know.
It is, and I love when you go off on it. So
I just have questions.
One.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if Morton Jr. is not Bowser's son, then who the fuck is Morton Sr.? I just need to know. There's other Koopa lore out there that needs to be told. But either way, that is something that was like actually retconned from what I remember. I think in Mario Brothers 3, they were pitched softly as Bowser's kids. And then further on, Bowser Jr. was Bowser's only child. And the Koopalings were either cousins or from a different family, or like a pack of wandering mages or something like that Bowser hired or worked with. Either way, Miyamoto was questioned about that. And he asked about the lore and how it pertains to like the current game that they were talking about. And Miyamoto gave a very Mario Brothers 3 pilled answer. He thinks of all of these characters in the Mario universe as actors in a play. And every time you see a story of theirs play out, you are watching the character Mario play this individual part of Mario, and this Bowser is playing this individual part of Bowser. But when no one's playing the game and the curtain drops, they're all friends. They're all part of the same troupe,
Hints,
and I think it's a really
parts and all that.
Exactly. Yeah, I think the question was initially pitched as like, hey, if Bowser keeps on kidnapping Peach, why does Mario play golf with him? Which is a great question to ask. And in the golf game, they're all just playing their character. This is maybe the golf game is canon, and they are actually just like off the fucking clock, and we're just playing. Okay, that's a different podcast episode, but nonetheless, in this iteration of Pauline and Donkey Kong, we're getting a much younger Pauline, a Pauline that we have never seen before, or at least at an age we've never seen before. And we've already talked about it. The design is unfucking believable. She looks like she's like 8 or 9 years old. Is like
I think I saw she's 13.
13 years old.
Said.
And she's got like these bell bottom like pants on, and just like is like a perfect match of like a humanoid form in the Mario universe that really complements Donkey Kong's redesign. In fact, there's some new official art, like an official render of Donkey Kong with his back turned and Pauline kind of
so good. It's so good.
She's like sitting kind of leaning against him, and there's like a really nice like sunset in the background, and it is unfucking believable how good it looks. And I have been not so hot on the Donkey Kong redesign, but something about the Donkey Kong redesign standing next to Pauline in this scenario is like one of the coolest pieces of Nintendo art that I've ever seen. I'm like, fucking reboot it, dude. Redesign whoever you want. I think it looks great. I'm glad that you feel the same way about that. It's pretty cool.
As far as key art changes, going from, I guess technically key art is what's on the game box. It doesn't matter. We're just talking. My favorite is probably still going to be the I think it was the 1 year anniversary for Tears of the Kingdom that they did, where it was like Link in like the ancient garb with his back. He's like kind of the 3/4 turn, and it was like not just like crouch down, looking down. It was like a lot more epic and intense.
Yeah, looking
that's
back,
probably still my favorite. Yeah, and then of course
I'm
a fan of the Metro Prime 4 box art. Looks sick, but this Donkey Kong one, because I'm sure we're gonna get to it. I'm sure you're going to be asking me in the next 10 minutes. I don't know how long you're going to talk about Pauline's bell bottoms, but
a long time.
I saw the reveal during the main direct on April 2nd or whatever, and I was like, this looks good. Like, this looks cool. But we talked about it in the Discord, join the Discord, that I like 3D platformers. I
Mhm.
enjoyed Mario Odyssey a lot. I rolled credits, all that, but I didn't really stick with it beyond that. I went back and found maybe 5 or 10 more moons tops before I was like, okay, I'm done. Like I played what I played and it was fun. There it is. Perfect.
Yeah. Audio
Chef's kiss.
listeners, we have the render from the Nintendo Direct up now. After the fact, they changed the key art to have the aforementioned picture up, which I think looks really slick.
Yes, yes.
Continue with your story. I apologize.
No,
I
you're
didn't mean
good.
to bunny you there.
Bunny. This was important to bring up. But yeah, so again, I thought it looked good, but I wasn't like, I need to get that day one. And then this direct came out, and I was like, I'm getting closer to that, man. Like I still don't know. Like I'm still not day one yet, but I'm a lot higher. Like I wasn't low on the game before, but I'm a lot higher than I was before. Because it's just like the gameplay itself. Also, in addition to the fun redesigns and reveals of her being there instead of just a little rock, the actual gameplay looks excellent. Like
looks
the climbing and the Bananza transformations and everything looks insane. Like it's awesome.
Yeah. I think that's a really cool hook too, is that these Bananza transformations, basically Donkey Kong has his own set of moves that is also pretty intricate. I think that it is worth noting that there's a lot going on with Donkey Kong's moveset, because not only does he have pure platforming powers and things that you would expect Donkey Kong to have, run, jump, out of the ground with his fucking fist, punch, of course. He also has a roll that is very similar to the roll that you get in Super Mario Odyssey, where it'll probably be your biggest like momentum gainer. I know that I hate that roll because you have to wiggle your fucking
I forgot
Switch
about
Pro
that.
controller to make it go the fastest way. It's so fucking annoying. But
I buried that deep. Thanks for unearthing that. Appreciate it.
That's my bad. But they also have these transformations. There's 3 of them announced so far. One of them is like a more general transformation where he's like Bonanza Kong, which is just kind of like Super Saiyan Donkey Kong 2. And then there are, I think, 3 more. There's Ostrich, Zebra.
That's all they showed.
Okay, so it's 3 total. That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. So the ostrich is really cool. The flightless bird, of course, can fly. And then the zebra is like speed. You're kind of like, almost looks like you're driving a little bit, which is awesome. And then you think about the future and you go, okay, well, obviously we're either going to ride Rambi or we're going to transform into Rambi, right? That's like the most iconic Donkey Kong homie.
Yeah.
And then swordfish, there's a lot of stuff going on with water that hasn't really been shown or explored. And I think that will probably...
Except for the zebra is also Jesus, just running on top of the water.
For sure.
I don't know if you caught that. Yeah. That's
but when he was going across the water, I don't think we saw Donkey Kong swim. However, there were bananas shown under the water. So I'm assuming there is some sort of functionality there. But there's a lot of stuff hiding in this trailer. Cranky Kong is in it. There are 3 new Kongs that are all like pretty distinct designs. We saw them in the first trailer as well. They are definitely giving like... Shit, what are the name of those little rabbit fuckers from Mario Odyssey? They're like the Timbits or something, but they're not called the Timbits. The Timbits are Tim Hortons donut holes.
Oh, I love those.
Yeah.
I saw a post the other day that was like, I always forget that these stupid rabbits are in Mario Odyssey until someone shows a video, and I was like, I forgot too. Like it's been so long, and they did not leave an impression.
No, clearly. For sure. We're not getting amiibos of those. The Brutals High Score Weekly came up with it. I want to know if it was off the top of his head or if he had to Google it. It could have been off the top of his head, but I wouldn't judge him if he had to Google it because nobody.
Well, he is using tilt controls too, so who knows?
That is true. That is true. However, I think that these designs are actually pretty good. One of them is kind of hot, but that's neither here nor there. Sure, probably. You'll know. You'll know when you see her.
No, I know. It's Void Kong is like the short like leader. I was trying to, but you forgot.
Oh, I got it. It's the freaky looking one.
Yeah.
I
like
do
a freak.
appreciate that.
I like a monkey freak.
Everyone does. But yeah, I mean, with the transformations and the gameplay variety that we saw, it is actually unfucking believable how good this game looks. The one thing that we haven't talked about for Donkey Kong's moveset outside of what he's equipped with, as well as the things that he can transform into, is the fucking rock throwing and destructive environments. I guess there's like a whole, almost like a mining segment.
Hey Jake.
Yeah,
they should have called it Red Faction Gorilla.
Oh shit! it. Hold on, I have to scroll down to find my buzzer. There we go.
I deserve that. Continue.
Yeah, definitely worth it. But I really like the fact that not only are you doing a lot of like digging holes and going forward and trying to unearth things in that environment, but you're also able to like throw rocks and clay to sculpt and build bridges and things like that. You can take rocks and surf across different surfaces and build like rainbow bridges. It looks fucking wild, dude. Like this game looks like the first game that I said this a little bit with Mario Kart a couple weeks ago, that in a lot of ways, although Mario Kart looks great, which it does, I don't entirely buy that game could not run on Nintendo Switch. Maybe not run as smoothly, and maybe once you get 24 players, I'm fucking wrong about that. But this game looks like a Nintendo Switch 2 only game. Like it's taking advantage of all that extra fucking hardware. Would you agree?
I do think Mario Kart World would probably make your Switch combust. I think that with the 24 players and just all the really high res textures and everything that they're doing and all the move sets that you can do, like you're grinding, you're jumping off the rail to grind on the wall to jump back off of that and balance off of a car. Like there's so much like
I think there's
so many little things that would just add up. But
our stupid chat is roasting me too. That's fair. I think it looks great. And that is to say, like, the game has, I think, a visual fidelity and a complexity to it that's not found in other Nintendo games that I've seen before. I feel like the amount of destruction that you can do in the environment and the amount of building that you can do that's customizable and freeform probably requires a lot of horsepower to make this game work correctly. And I find that very impressive so far.
And see, there's a lot of that too. To an extent, there's a lot of that in Tears of the Kingdom with being able to build things and like you could destroy certain things. And it showed that the Switch 1 could just barely hold that. Like, to their credit, it did run generally well on the Switch 1, but I think I brought it up the other week where if you had more than one of the sages like active to be able to call on to do their moveset or whatever, I mean, you were starting to see the slowdown, like noticeable slowdown. And that's not even adding in like when they had a whole bunch of enemies on screen at once. So
definitely
saving it to your point though, I'm going to give you a little bit of credit back because they did straight up say we started Mario Kart World for the Switch 1, then we realized that we couldn't do it the way we wanted to on that hardware, so we pivoted. So I'm wondering though if Donkey Kong Bananza was never planned for Switch 1 and they just started it from the ground up on Switch 2. You know what I mean? Like,
I don't know.
Because there's certain aspects, like, we'll talk about it in a few minutes, I'm sure, but I don't think it's that drastic and that much of a problem. But the open areas in Mario Kart World could have more vehicles in them that aren't drivers. You know what I mean? Like, it's not a desert wasteland, but it's also not a traffic jam in Chicago. Like, you know what I mean? So it's, I think that to that point, they probably did want to limit what else was on there because they didn't want to push their luck too much.
Right. I can see that being the case. Other things outside of fidelity, when I'm thinking about graphics, I'm just thinking back to like the really high points for me in this direct. And one of the things that I'm forgetting about, and like for me, it sounds so stupid, but like my hypest moment for some reason was when they made Donkey Kong blue and he was wearing these like ridiculous, like almost looked like swim trunks, like also blue swim trunks with like banana pattern on them. And then Pauline was wearing this like big floppy straw hat and like a blue like summer dress that matched him. And then it showed them swimming through the fucking water. And it was the customization that made me just like lose my mind. I was like, oh God, this is going to be my fucking game of the year, isn't it? Like I can't see it being bad. I just look at that game and all I think of is I cannot wait to get my fucking hands on this because Cog, I think you were the one who commented on my video about like Jake has childlike glee. Like what is that? I was all smiles, dude. I watched that Nintendo Direct and then we rewound it and watched the Nintendo Direct again and just like commentated more on it because my jaw was fucking dropped the entire time.
Yeah. I'm not even trying to just like, gas you up because you're my co-host. Like everyone who's listening to this, watching this, at some point, go back and watch Jake's reaction because it's so pure. Like,
dude, very few things make me feel. I mean, look, I got my donkey sitting here. I don't have very many like pieces of memorabilia down here. I'm at my parents' guest bedroom with my makeshift podcasting studio in here. But I made room for Donk. I fucking love my first party Nintendo stuff, and Donkey Kong is a big part of that. So I am just thrilled to see him getting this top shelf treatment that he should be getting. And there's a lot of talk to kind of follow up on what you brought up about the Switch 2 and the development starting on like Mario Kart World on Nintendo Switch 1. There's some mystery as to like what team is working on or how big of a team or when this game started having work on it begin. This to me is the fucking Mario Odyssey team, or at least most of the Mario Odyssey team. There is so much Mario Odyssey DNA in there. I can't imagine looking at that and thinking anything otherwise. And it's possible that they were doing double duty and that there is probably going to be something Mario coming in the pipeline very soon as well. 3D that has been rumored for some time. I personally think, let's get into some theory crafting here before we wrap things up on Donkey Kong. I personally think that this is a prequel to Super Mario Odyssey, and I think Mario will be in this game. Possibly Luigi, possibly Bowser. I just have a feeling that what we are going to be doing, here's my pitch. All right. So we didn't even have the central like idea of what was happening here. We needed to get to the core of the planet or world that Donkey Kong is on, which I think is interesting. So that we can eventually
world confirmed.
So true.
You have Hollow Earth. This is Tiramisu Earth, where every layer somehow still has sunlight.
Very true.
The only explanation is that one side of it, the fourth wall of it, is open, and we're just going layer by layer, like a good tiramisu. Give them lady fingers. You know what I'm saying, Jake?
I love a nice lady finger. You know what else I like? The cookies that they put in tiramisu.
Got him.
So listen, when you go to Mario Odyssey's stage select, you don't go to worlds necessarily. You go to kingdom. And I believe New Donk City is the Metro Kingdom. I might be wrong on that. I'm not entirely positive on it. The Metro Kingdom could just be part of this exact world that we're on for Donkey Kong Bananza. And it is my theory, with all of this building that they have in the game and all of this like landscaping ability that they have, where you can kind of like move things around, I have a feeling that we are gearing up towards the end of that game being we defeat whatever the final boss is back at the core of our, planet. And then we head up to the surface with Pauline to bring her back to whatever she's trying to find. And I'm assuming it's not a great story for whatever Pauline has up there. I'm expecting a Rosalina Mario Galaxy type situation where you get up there and it's probably a sad reality for Pauline. I bet like her parents are gone or she doesn't find what she's looking for up there. And instead she wants to live out her dream. Her dream is talked about in this, and I'm not positive what it is. I'm sure it's like to be a singer and entertain a crowd, but I think that it involves the founding of New Donk City.
Donk City.
Yeah.
I think whenever she goes home,
clear, like I think of spoilers for Red Dead Redemption 2 starting now. Get the fuck
I think Pauline has tuberculosis.
John Marston, is that you?
That's our wonderful P-Swag hopping on here. P-Schwissy, welcome in. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm dropping in. I guess I did a John Marston saying hi to John Marston.
Yeah,
but
that's okay.
It's
I got the point.
It's the metaverse here.
I expect a Red Dead Redemption 2 style epilogue where maybe your like end game is collecting additional things throughout the world, or going for your 100% in Donkey Kong Bananza involves collecting items to build or renovate or smooth out the ground and then create the Metro Kingdom to create New Donk City. And then we'll possibly have some kind of time jump that involves Mario and the whole 9 yards, and maybe even the original Donkey Kong. We'll see.
I like it. I think whenever she goes home, there's something bad waiting for her there.
Oh no.
Oh
Yeah.
no.
Did we
The other
address
is
how, Jake, you were just spot fucking on about The Rock?
yeah, for
Yeah.
sure. I mean, listen, I knew that there was something there. We talked about the Mario Odyssey trailer 1 versus trailer 2. And I think that it was bound to have some kind of big surprise. It actually had more surprises than I was thinking. Where it didn't have a like one single mechanic that impressed me. It had a bunch of new things going on because it's not just Pauline being a part of it, but it's also these transformations, which I think is pretty rad. And I think we've only scraped the surface on transformations. My guess is like the end count will be like 5 or 6, not 2 or 3.
I hope so, because I was kind of bummed that they showed 2 more. Honestly, like I
Sure.
was like,
Yeah.
okay, you showed me the one that was like the basically just Donkey Kong being more of a gorilla,
Sure.
but then they showed the zebra and the ostrich, and I was like, could you maybe not have shown both of those? Like maybe one
Yeah.
more, but like I don't know, like it. You know, we were talking about this in the Discord too, join the Discord, about movies just spoiling themselves left and right all the time. So it's like, please don't do that.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
I hope that, but them showing 3 total means that there is at least 2 or 3 more that we haven't seen and haven't heard of or whatever.
I really think that there is a lot still to be shown here. And that is, again, looking at Mario Odyssey as our example, because we did see some really cool stuff. Like we saw the big fucking T-Rex transformation, and we saw the funny ones where Mario transforms into like a fucking lamp post or a fire hydrant and stuff. But when I think about it, my guess is it's not going to be as many as Mario Odyssey. It's not like we're going to have 12 plus, because there were probably 100 in Mario Odyssey. But the Mario Odyssey ones, more often than not, they were kind of one-trick ponies. You would use them for one thing, or it was like kind of funny. They weren't like now I have this power and I can do this. There was like, in the forest level, I remember that one where you could kind of like lift your body real high and kind of flip your legs up under
The
you.
little
So
onion dude.
Yeah, exactly. But that was the most that you would get out of like functionality. Whereas the zebra and the ostrich all seem to have like multiple powers, where I could see a situation where you progress through that level in a certain way, and then once you break that box that gives you the transformation, similar to Donkey Kong Country, where when you find like the Rambi box, all of a sudden if you put it in reverse and head back to the beginning, you can now poke your big fucking horn through that wall and get to the secret area and get all those extra bananas and things like that. So
breaking boxes and poking horns, that's Jake's modus
my
operandi.
style. Lady fingers, am I right?
Yeah, right.
The last things that I want to touch on this before I go to P-Swag, because I'd love to just like hear his overall thoughts on this and if he has any theories and stuff, is just a couple of those final details about the game as well. Obviously, we still have the date not changing. It's launching in July, which is firm, as well as an amiibo coming out, retail price $29.99. But god damn, it's got little Pauline on fucking Donk. I'm gonna get it. I'm gonna get it. I got to have it. And then multiplayer, which seems a little bit more full featured than the Odyssey stuff, but a little bit less than you'd get from like a traditional like 2D Donkey Kong game where two people were on like screen together the whole time. Pretty cool.
I was impressed with the fidelity of it.
Yeah.
Because she's shouting like, yeah, go get him or whatever. And it's like the actual words like shooting out and then breaking the like. That's pretty impressive.
Mario Kart does that sometimes too, where it will be like it'll have like a situation where you throw, I forgot what it is, but I think it's what's that thing called where you like have a shockwave around you and it can get a blue shell out from
the horn, maybe like the
horn. Yeah, I think it's the horn. Where when you do that, it says like boing boing bonk bonk, like it has the words pop up like a comic book kind of.
Yeah, except this time they're actually like breaking the environment. They're like shooting out from her and like hitting the ground and then breaking it. And I don't know, it looked really, really good.
Who's going to be the first funny guy on the internet to Photoshop it saying "come"?
Me.
Yeah, it's probably going to be Jake.
Yeah,
he already has a draft. Don't worry about it.
Correct.
Patrick, tell us about your opinions on this direct overall and where you at on Donkey Kong Bananza as a whole.
To quote my good friend Jake Twitchin, yo, I have not been this hot on a Nintendo game in so fucking long. Like Tears of the Kingdom, it was a pretty known quantity, but still like my expectation was through the roof. But like, because I saw Blaster Goblin when I first dropped in mention like I've entered this reality where all of a sudden people care about Donkey Kong within the last year, and I don't like it. I'm paraphrasing, but it was something like that. And it's funny because I'm a person that has never cared about Donkey Kong. I like Donkey Kong Country like 1 and 2 fine. I played them a lot as a kid, but it was like, I was a wee lad. They were a little too hard for me, but like I loved the music and I love getting on Rambi and like that kind of thing. And like every now and then maybe I'd spell Kong through a level, but my brain wasn't formed enough to really play the entirety of any Donkey Kong game back then, the country games. And I never touched 64 other than like a one-time Hollywood video rental, maybe. For some reason, it just like never, which is surprising to me because I ate up those kinds of games back then. But for some reason, it just like we never had it. So I've kind of never cared about Donkey Kong, and that was solidified when, Jake, you're not going to like this, I heard nothing but glowing things about Tropical Freeze. So I spent fucking $60 on it because Nintendo never drops their goddamn prices and had a bad time. It's just not my game. It's just not.
What do you mean?
That is more my own opinion on that type of game than that game, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
I can like a 2D platformer, but it's a genre that I feel like I'm kind of growing out of. And like I see High Score Weekly in the chat saying Tropical Freeze is peak. I recognize that I'm the minority opinion on this. But so all of that to say, I've never really cared much about Donkey Kong, even though I kind of main him in Smash. But to say I main someone in Smash is a joke because I play that game like once every 15 years. And this game, I am red fucking hot on it. I was so impressed with the direct. I do agree with, I didn't get to hear much of y'all's conversation because I was showering, as you might be able to tell. The day I've had has been insane. However, that's not what we're talking about, Jordan. I don't know why I singled you out there. But the direct, they showed a little too much, but with the way Nintendo does shit, I still think they showed us barely anything about this game. I feel like historically they don't show a lot of their cards. They'll show enough cards to sell it, but they're not going to show all of their cards. On a game like this, like they showed us basically every card in Mario Kart World, but
yeah. The example I always go to for that, Patrick, is Tears of the Kingdom. They hid third of the entire game.
Correct.
They hid the
correct. And yeah, that first time going to the depths, what an experience. I get goosebumps just thinking about it.
Yeah, it was a crazy like 24 to 48 hours on the internet of like the first hours of Tears of the Kingdom is like you're spending a minimum of 3.5, 4 hours on that starting island your first time through Tears of the Kingdom, no doubt. So there is like a time barrier to discovering the depths where like it's possible you don't hit the depths for 10 to 12 hours.
Yeah.
And it was everybody was like slowly stepping around, like they were like, hey, do you know like a big thing about the game you didn't know? And they're like, no. It's like, oh yeah, no, me either. Like,
have you found any holes?
Right, exactly.
I think the final thoughts for me on it, I think if this game isn't above a 90, then the marketers at Nintendo deserve a raise, because this will be the second game in a row that the way they showed it to me, Mario Kart World being the other one, I was like, no way this is sub 90. This game just looks so fucking good. So if this comes out to like middling reviews or, 7s and 8s, I will be fucking gobsmacked with how good this game looks after the direct.
I honestly think that the headline for this game is going to be like move over Mario or Astrobot. Like, I think it's going to be like there's a new best 3D platformer in town.
Yeah, I hope
think
so.
It just has the makings of it. And it looks so, we talked about this again, like fully featured to me. It feels like such a complete game. And we'll get into this with Mario Kart as well, because even though we do desire a lot of things, that game is a pretty nice package in modern times as far as like variety available to you, despite its quality or how much you might enjoy what that content is. Looking at this direct and seeing everything that this game has to offer, these little fucking modes and these things that seem like they're not that big of a deal, and then you look at like what it's possibly capable of. I think of Donkey Kong throwing like that clay to make a bridge. I think of the little sculpting mode. I think of collecting all the outfits and things like that. Like, that there's going to be like a Funky Kong outfit that you can get and put him in, or like a really I think of the Mario Odyssey Nintendo 64 one. Like, are we gonna get like a Super Nintendo style or a Donkey Kong 64 style skin? I'm sure we will. I just think that game is going to be the same exact type of like pure bliss for Nintendo fans that Mario Odyssey was.
Jake, do you think we get something like in Mario Odyssey where there would be like the 2D stickers that you could then go in and like do a little 2D something? Do you think there would be something adjacent
that's a
to
really
that?
good call. Yeah, I could see something like that being there. Maybe if I were to like guess right now, maybe like scaffolding or something like that. Like scaffolding challenges, like pure platformer challenges.
Very brief little 2D looking sections that they showed in the original reveal as well as this one, where it almost looked like it's kind of hard to tell how big of a part of the game it's going to be, but he would like punch down and then it would kind of go from 3D to 2D. It would kind of pull out a little bit. And then, so I think that there is going to be something like that to it. Like, I don't know if it's going to be jumping into a sticker, but it's going to be like some areas that you dig through are going to shift you into 2D for the puzzles and for the platforming challenge. I
think that might have been, if I'm looking at those and thinking correctly, they kind of feel like they might be separating large zones from each other, where what you're talking about is like you dig into the ground and then it kind of pivots and it looks a lot like Shovel Knight Dig, where you're sort of like heading down in a big way, so you're kind of losing track of what's above you and you're not sure what's under you. And my guess is that that's how you will go like further and further into the core in between levels, would be probably my guess there.
Well,
but
that's in addition to that, skydiving.
Yeah, true. That's right. I forgot about those holes.
I hope,
and I always remember holes.
One of my biggest hopes with this game, because we've seen like 3-ish worlds so far. Like there's the base one, there's like the oceany one, and then there's one that's like very bright. Maybe that's the oceany one.
Jungly.
Right. I really hope that we get like 6, 7, or 8. Like I hope that this isn't like you get to the 4th one and you're finishing the game.
I don't think so.
But to the High School Weekly in the chat, teleporting, they're really shoving the eel in there, if you know what I'm saying. That suggests to me that there will be several worlds, and I hope that's the case. I'd be surprised if a game like this, if it wouldn't be feature rich and like location rich, because that's just like this kind of a game yearns.
I find Mario Odyssey to be a much larger game in my initial playthrough than initially expected as well. Like there were multiple times where I was like, oh, this must be the end. Like when I got to the Mushroom Kingdom and checked out Peach's Castle, I was like, this must be it. And then there's like still another 2 worlds and then moon stuff and fucking post moon stuff. Like the completionist aspect will probably be outrageous. And that's even not even thinking about like Donkey Kong 64's lineage, which is one of the most notorious collectathons that's ever existed. I don't know if you guys know that, but like the to 100% Mario to 100% Donkey Kong 64 is the stuff of nightmares. There are so many things to get. It's like I'll pull up the How Long to Beat momentarily, but the other things that I'm forgetting is High Score Weekly brought up that there's an RPG stat system in this game.
Yes.
And then when we were talking about 2D things, we also saw the return of very Donkey Kong Country-esque barrel shooting levels.
And minecarts.
And minecarts, exactly. So the gameplay variety is clearly there. That's for sure. And it's just fucking mesmerizing how much shit there is to do in this game. This is shaping up to be so special.
Oh, for sure. Did we talk at all about? Do we think there's a chance that we play as as Pauline at all? Unless that was shown and I forgot.
No. I think that'd be pretty cool. I don't know. She has her singing powers. I would expect like maybe like a rhythm mini game of some sort.
Yeah, maybe.
For sure. But I don't know if you would actually control her. I got into my whole theory of like it being a prequel and founding New Donk City. I think.
Which I totally agree with. Maybe if there's some like sneak through a museum levels with a little like gun that can electrify people. Yeah, taser maybe. And maybe she can wear like a red wig for that.
Yeah,
and she's a reporter.
Ooh, I do like
just
that.
an idea.
I do like that. Yeah, man. Day one for me. Day one for Patrick.
Yeah.
Day something for Cognitive Clips.
I'm gonna be on vacation at a wedding across the pond when this comes out. And I'm so disappointed that one of my travel days isn't like we get to a place the day before this launches. So it's like, oh, I'm going to be like busy doing shit, but I'm going to be staying up way too late and being so annoyed with myself the next day because I'm just playing so much fucking Donkey Kong. But that flight home.
Oh yeah, that's nice. That's nice that you have a flight home where you'll have it for sure. that's always so special when you go on a trip and something just came out. Like I have such a vivid memory of playing like Fire Emblem: The Sacred Stones on Game Boy Advance on like a 8-hour flight and just being like mortified that permadeath was a thing and I lost my unicorn girl on the plane. And I think I might have cried, dude.
Valid, very valid. I was able to, take my Switch last week on a work trip, or the Switch 2 on a work trip, which was nice, especially when I got like completely effed over getting our bus breaking down in the middle of the highway.
Yeah,
and
I hope there's
a whole saga. I won't regale it. Huh?
I hope you had power available with that battery.
I did, because I wasn't doing anything like too intensive for too long.
Good.
I had a pause here and there trying to call the travel agents and whatever else, so made it work.
It do be like that.
It
do. Let's put a bow on Donkey Kong. I'm so fucking excited again. Oh, Patrick, the only thing that you didn't get to talk about real quick, just before we end, I just want to talk about it one more time because I really, really like it so much. How good is that new fucking artwork of
Bring
Pauline
it up again
and Donkey?
Yo. If there's not a version of this without the logo and Direct and the Switch 2 logo and Nintendo, I riot. I need this.
Oh, they're already.
What if this is the reversible box art?
Ooh, I might have to go buy a physical copy if that's the case.
I'm just saying.
I love it. This sold me on the redesign of Donk. All right, that's enough.
I fucking love young Pauline's design.
It's so good. It's so good. Oh,
it's so good.
So hard.
It's perfect.
It's perfect. And it's so much better. I fucking hate the babies. Like, I don't think the babies are good design at all. I think Baby Mario and Baby Luigi were novel back when they were first, like, announced. But this whole, like, well, now there's Baby Peach and Baby Daisy. And, like, fucking, I remember Yoshi's Island DS or Yoshi's New Island, whichever one introduced them. With Baby Wario and Baby Donkey Kong. Fucking nightmare fuel. Now we have Baby Rosalina. I don't need it. I will
say, Baby Rosalina not having her arms all the way through the sleeves, adorable. Like she got like sleeves dangling off.
I won't have you making excuses for Baby Rosalina on this holiest day of celebrating Pauline.
I do hope we get a young line, which I don't like the way I said that, but I hope we get like teenage Mario, teenage Luigi as playable characters.
Oh, that'd be sick as fuck. Oh my god, do you think that is how we see them? Like the founding of New Donk City and Mario is fucking Pauline's age?
Could be.
Babies all grown up? That's a Rugrats reference.
Not grown up.
Okay, let me end the fucking Donkey Kong segment. Everybody ready? Let's all lock it in. On 3, we all say Donkey Kong done. 1, 2, 3. Donkey Kong done.
Done.
Easy.
It, Jordan.
Easy. Perfect.
We want Donkey Kong done. We want to party down, son.
All right. Let's talk about Mario Kart. The main topic of the night is fixing Mario Kart World is how we're positioning it. And this game, I think I speak for all of us, is a game that we were all very hot on when it came out and even very hot on in its first week. Yes. And I want to pulse check before we get into the thick here about how you guys are feeling a couple weeks removed from launch. Now that honeymoon period is over. No more backshot air, We're straight into the fucking Hey Jordan. You know what backshot air is?
Yeah.
You do?
Yeah, I looked it up.
Did you Google
Hell
it?
Yeah.
Nice.
Our corrupted king.
We love it.
Corrupted Clips.
Mm-hmm. Corrupted Clips is really good.
Corrupted Clips is fantastic.
Write that down. Evil Jordan is now Corrupted Clips.
Yeah. That just sounds like I'm in a Hideo Kojima game. Like
sure.
Yeah. punished cog. Yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
Very good. But let's go around the horn. Patrick, I'll throw it to you first. How are you feeling about Mario Kart World about 3 weeks after launch? And give me a number that you would review it at.
I have cooled considerably on Mario Kart World. I thought going into it, and even that honeymoon period, like by the time we streamed with the community, which was one of the best streams that we've done, I think. So we've done like fucking 2 of them, but it was just so much fun.
Top 2. It's top 2.
Yeah, it's top 2. It's got to be top 2. No, we've done more than 2. I mean, community streams, but I have found myself really not playing it nearly as much as I would have considered. And I think part of that is, in my experience, how quick it was to like check all the boxes. Like I've unlocked every costume. I've beaten every Grand Prix, all the knockout tours. I haven't three-starred them. That's proving to be a little more difficult than I thought. But I have almost every character. Right now, I'm at that point where I'm just like waiting to trigger them by being hit with the Kamek spell. But yeah, I don't know. I think it's a great game. I think I would land at an 8 for this right now. And I think to kind of look ahead, it's like I can see how this game can be a 10 within 12 or 18 months. But right now, in its current form, I would give this game an 8, which is very strong. That's great to me.
Yeah.
I had friends over the other night and we played like 5 or 6 Grand Prix. We did a knockout tour or two. We had a great time. I haven't touched it since then. And that to me, I feel like if this was a 9, I would still be playing this. If this was a 10, I would absolutely still be playing this. And so at this point, I'm kind of just like waiting what's next, which fucking sucks. We waited like a decade for new Mario Kart, not counting the DLC to 8. And I'm already like, okay, now what? It's just like, that's disappointing to me.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm with you. Pog, talk to me. Same thing.
Yeah, so I really, really enjoy it. If I had to put a number on it now, I feel like I'm a little bit higher than Patrick, so I landed like no higher than a 9. Definitely nothing higher than that. I think it's really strong. I'm having a lot of fun with it when I am playing it. I do think this is one of the ones. This is the type of game, obviously, that lends itself a lot to multiplayer, to the social aspect of it, which I haven't really engaged in too much. I'm kind of using my Switch 2 as a means to not only check out some of the Switch 2 versions like Tears of the Kingdom, I also used it to kind of wrap up the DLC for Sea of Stars that I had started on the Switch 1 and other things. I'm just trying to, put feelers out for a lot of different things at once in these early weeks of the console. So at the moment, I only my profile says 15 plus hours on it. So that's not, over the span of 2 weeks, it's not a whole lot in the grand scheme. But I do really love what's there. We'll get to the critiques later of what I think could be changed for it, but there's definitely room for improvement. And Patrick's talking about the costumes and stuff, like that's one of my sore spots that I'll talk about a little bit later, is like how tedious it is to try to get all the costumes and some of the characters and costumes being somewhat locked behind RNG, which we all know is my favorite thing in video games lately, the RNG. So, again, 8.5. I'm going to say 9. I'm going to stick to my guns and say 9 overall, but room for improvement, but loving what's there, kind of thing.
Cool.
Sure.
What about you, Jake?
I'm not trying to like split the difference here or anything like that, but I am sitting at like an 8.5 for this. I have consumed this game in a way that I didn't think I would, where it has almost just filled the role of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe faster than I thought that would happen. Just in like the circles that I roll in on Twitch, with this being a console that sold as well as it did, a lot more people have the Switch 2 in Mario Kart than I thought would have it. And because of that, community gaming in a lot of circles has been pretty big. So I found myself hopping online with just random people and getting into like a quick Grand Prix or a knockout tour with everybody on multiple different channels over the past few weeks. And that has filled my cup as far as what I need out of Mario Kart. Whereas before this, I thought that I was going to go 100% that open world. I thought I was going to get every fucking outfit. And like, truth be told, only put like 40 minutes into the open world in single player. I put about an hour and a half of it after our group stream with Patrick, and then on night one, maybe a half hour total. I've completed like 3 or 4 piece switches. I have a handful of costumes for the characters that I like, but for the most part, I haven't engaged with the single player stuff. And that's not because I'm not hot on it. It just doesn't appeal to me the way that I thought it would, I guess. And there's still enough pulling me in otherwise that I don't feel like disappointed with my purchase or with the package at all. I think that it's still like very good shit. It's just I have engaged with it in a much different way than I initially thought I would engage with it. A couple more things before we start talking about improvements, just to like let me get a scope of the playing field here. What's your favorite character and what are they riding and what's their costume? I have been rocking basically Boshi all the time,
Yes.
who is like from Super Mario RPG, and it's not exactly Boshi didn't wear a leather jacket like this fucking leather daddy does. He did wear the sunglasses though, and he was blue, and he did have a spiked choker on, which he still maintains here. And I've been putting him on the dolphin rider as well because it matches his blue like perfectly. So I'm just kind of like a big blue fucking speed demon rocking around those curves, which are pretty fun. And then of course you guys already know, like, favorite course, fucking Wario Stadium 64, dude, back in action is just so good to have. And
the pyrotechnics.
Oh, it's so sick. Have you guys seen that secret warp pipe that brings you up to the half pipe on the fucking top of the thing?
No.
Oh my god, Google Wario half pipe. You'll find it. It's fucking awesome.
I'm scared of you asked me to Google the words Wario and pipe in the same.
Google Wario pipe adult Pauline. See what comes up.
All right, I'm out.
Jordan, what are you playing for a character? What's your favorite course?
Man, so I kind of go a little bit back and forth. My two main ones I've been going back and forth are Pro Racer Toad, because it just
tiny man in a tiny helmet. We love it.
It's so good.
Yeah.
Where does his head end and the helmet begin? Who knows? Maybe his head is the helmet. Maybe the helmet was inside of us all along. It doesn't really matter. I just support him wherever he is. I also like rocking some Rosalina, either the Aurora dress or the touring outfit, which I texted Jerica and I was like, is it just me, or is this like peak lesbian fashion? Like, she's got those boots, she's got the backwards hat and the bangs. It's just like iconic. Happy Pride Month.
Yeah.
And occasionally I got to go King Boo, especially with that aristocrat.
Yeah.
It's so funny. My favorite cart to use, I forgot, since I wasn't a knower. I didn't play it. I think it's from the cover of Mario Kart DS, but it's the B Dasher, like the kind of like the short gray cart. I also like the Rob Hog. I found the hog.
Some love. Rob's getting some love in the chat right now. Sirius is rocking Pauline in the speed suit on the Rob bike, which is just
that could be my answer. Honestly,
that's
hot situation.
Yeah, I love the Rob bike. It's so good.
It's very good. We have Frico Noah is playing as Biddy Bud on the Dolphin Rider.
Wow,
which is absolutely fucking insane. Truly insane.
Can you imagine going back in time and saying the phrase "Biddy Bud on the Dolphin Rider" to somebody? They have a stroke.
Yeah, Victorian era child.
It's not good.
Drop dead.
I don't know that I have like a clear answer for this. Mostly because I've been switching around a lot to get all the costumes.
Right.
But a couple standouts for me. I love Pauline in the arrow suit that Cirrus was saying. I also really love Mario in the Dune Rider outfit and the cowboy outfit. Mostly in the Dune Rider, so I can say he's a Dune Rider. That's very fun for me. It's very satisfying. And he's doing that like two-step in the menu, which is great. But there's a character that I haven't found yet. It's one of the few that I don't have. And I don't even know its name, but it's the little ghost. I don't know if it's just a boo. I don't think it's
it's not a boo. It's a different thing.
I want the little fucking ghost so bad. Peepa. Thank you, G-Guns. I want Peepa.
Peepa.
Patty want Peepa. And Patty can't get Peepa. And Patty is upset that he don't have Peepa. Okay.
Sure. I'm going to keep my joke to myself. Continue.
Yeah, thank you. But yeah, and so yeah, I would say, just for simplicity, I'm going to agree with Cirrus, Pauline Aerosuit on the Rob bike, or June Rider Mario on the one that has like big horns. I forget what that one's called.
For sure,
but it's like a 3-wheeler, I think, with big horns.
Very good picks. Let me lay out to you all, if you don't have it in front of you. I kind of made an outline here because, Pog, go.
Sorry, I forgot to say favorite courses.
Oh, me too.
Okay, because Rainbow Road is one of the most like genuinely stunning things I have seen in gaming in a long time. But I love Starview Peaks, the one that's kind of Rosaline's, like the whole bioluminescent water auroras in the sky kind of thing going on. Those are excellent. Patrick,
for sure.
What you got?
100% Rainbow Road. Like I don't think there's a bad course in this.
There's
worst,
not.
There's really like, we've kind of seen this before, but like that's at worst. And even then, like it's still a great course. But Rainbow Road legit is like a top 3 moment in video games for me. The first time playing Rainbow Road in Mario Kart World, and stepping up and stepping up. And then that last section, the music of the last section, to be vulnerable for a second, earlier this week, I'm fucking going through it. But earlier this week, I had to take my cat to the vet. He has cancer. And he had cancer, had it. We did radiation, got the tumor removed. Went to the vet recently, and the vet was like, we think the tumor's coming back. Let's send you to the vet that like the oncologist. So I go to the oncologist, and good news. The oncologist is like, we think Gus, he feels symmetrical. I think maybe it was just like swelling, blah, blah, blah. Which is great. Like such a huge fucking relief. It's just been like one thing after the other, as we all know. Yeah. Hear that news. I get in the car. I turn on Rainbow Road, the Mario Kart World track. And once it gets to that last section, I'm just fucking weeping because I'm so happy that my cat isn't going to die tomorrow. And this music is just like scientifically, it is just created in such a way that it's like, oh my fucking God. I listened to that for 40 straight minutes in the car. I just kept turning it back. It was like a long version on YouTube for like 17 minutes. Listened to it like 3 times. I was like, God, this game, this fucking song, 9.5. I've changed.
Can I share an adjacent moment here? Nowhere near the dire setup as yours, but they added Tears of the Kingdom onto Nintendo Music. And my wife, being a music therapist and obviously having a lot of knowledge about music and, both in her practice and in her education, I was like, I really want you to listen to at least this one section, just how great it is of the Colgera fight. The one that like builds up and then it has the old Dragon Roost Island theme to it. And I'm like, this is so good. And I just like start tearing up. So I'm like trying to like show my wife like 30 seconds of a song. I'm like, this is so good. It's so good.
Yeah, not as a bit, actually. D-Guns reminds me that this game's soundtrack is on a fucking nother level. I am pushing this to an 8.5 because of the music. The amount of fucking incredibly recomposed and decomposed isn't the word. I can't think of the word. It's just like new versions of the songs, new arrangements of songs. And there's so much fun. Like, there's things from Odyssey and 64 and like so many games, so many different Mario Kart versions. It's like Super Smash Ultimate, where like there's just so much fucking music that I'm 8.5 for me.
It's really good. I also have an emotional story about the music too that I want to share because you guys both have them.
No, actually, we're gonna move on to the world now.
Smashing fucking backshots into this hood rat, and the fucking Shy Guy Bizarre music starts hitting, and I'm just kidding.
Yeah. So there I was.
All right. Let's talk about the future of this game, and I've broken it down into some specific sections, and I wanted to let you guys know what they are ahead of time so that we don't get ahead of ourselves. Let's take them like piece by piece. I want to know first, we're going to talk about changes. So like not additions, but changes to existing stuff in Mario Kart World. Then I want to talk about things that need to be added, whether that's modes or functionality or UI. Then we'll talk about cosmetic additions, whether that's characters, carts, costumes, and courses. Then we'll wrap things up with anything that didn't fall into those buckets. Make sense? Let's all say Mario Kart makes sense on 3. What? I'm just kidding. All right. So let me start with Cog. Talk to me about changes to the existing structure of Mario Kart World. Do you have anything that jumps out?
What jumped out at me, I kind of touched on it earlier, but the way that things are unlocked, I think needs some adjustment.
Big agree. Huge time agree.
Because like, again, this may bleed over into additions. I apologize. Okay, I am trying my best.
Just fucking read them.
But like, I almost wish that it was like Smash Ultimate, where you can either beat the game this number of times, or beat the story mode this number of times, or do this, and whichever one you do first, you get the chance to battle the new character and unlock them. I wish it was like, oh, do this number of things to get this outfit or whatever, because I'm having like, it's a very tedious thing that I've been trying to do sometimes in the open world, where I'll find a Yoshi stand that is seeming to get me an outfit that I don't have already. And so I'll just sit there and just go pause, change character, sort, pick a new character, see if it works, pause, sort, just rinse and repeat. And it takes like 15 minutes, and half the time it doesn't even get what you need because you don't know where to go to get the new one.
Can I save you so much time?
No. Yeah, please do, actually.
I just ended up pulling up a walkthrough because there's certain ones that'll only trigger at certain places. And some of it doesn't make sense. It's like, wait, why is this one at that course when it's the racer outfit? It should be at one of these other race, like Mario Kart Speedway or whatever. But I just went, like, I got about 75% of the way through, and there were certain ones I just wasn't finding. So I was like, fuck it. I pulled up a polygon walkthrough, and in like 30 minutes, I unlocked the rest of the outfits.
Sweet. I keep thinking about doing that, but then I end up either just playing a different game or changing to doing like a Grand Prix or a knockout, and then I forget until the next time. I'm a goldfish. Brain is mush. So the main thing is just changing how things are unlocked. And then also, I wish the stickers were more prominent because I do like them. I'm not about to go on a collectathon necessarily and try to get every single sticker, but like, look, I did that race. I hit that P switch on accident, or the question mark switch on open world, and I got this cool new sticker. And then it's like the tiniest little minuscule thing on the side of the cart, and you can never.
Yeah,
like, what's the
point?
It'd
be nice if, like, when you're in selecting mode, whether that's offline or online. Like, I'm thinking of like the Smash character screen where you pick it and it like has the color behind them. If it's like yellow Link or whatever, if like the sticker is in big bold behind you as like your backdrop with, whatever else, I think that would be a nice way of featuring the stickers a little more. Cause there's some really fun stickers, and it's like, there are ones where it's like, that feels cool that I unlocked that. This one feels maybe a little rare, and I do wish, just to add on to that a little bit, I wish there was like some sort of a tiering of the stickers of like ones that are rarer than others or whatever would be nice.
Yeah, there's like no organization to it at all.
Tracking of those stickers, I think, would be nice as well. Like, there's no way to see like what's missing, I don't believe.
That sounds a lot like an addition, Jake.
Cog, you said something about the characters unlocking and the struggles with that. Noah has a really good idea in the chat. The open world has random encounters where you find a driver who you're tasked with following to green shell them and get coins. Why are we not getting character unlocks via random open world encounters that trigger races or challenges? What a fucking idea. Get Noah to fucking Nintendo yesterday. That would be such a great change.
That is really good. I think the biggest change that needs to fucking happen in this game is I think there's two really big ones, but the character select screen is a joke. Why would they not have it be character and then costume as opposed to just like this smattering of bullshit? And I think that the answer is that coming off of Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, that single page of characters was so impressive that if it was just a single page of characters again, and it was less than Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, it would be so easy to just bring up this versus this and be like, this is what we're getting, a downgrade from the last one that's not even on the new console, that kind of thing, which I get in a certain way. I think the other thing,
they can be 2 pages.
Yeah, sure, fine with me.
Yeah,
front and back,
Yeah,
that's what I've been saying this whole time.
That's double from last time with 1 page, Jake.
So true.
100% improvement.
There's 2 pages worth of characters. This is actually insane. The other thing that I want is that there is a really fucking weird way of messaging the difference between these courses, because for the most part, I think that this new Grand Prix is not that great. I would say that Grand Prix in its new form is not my favorite way to play Mario Kart World. I wish that I could get the standard Grand Prix experience with closed tracks that are 3 laps apiece.
Yes.
And then have a new mode that is like the, expert mode Grand Prix or Grand Prix extended that has all of those things connected the way that current Grand Prix is. And then I wish that there was a very strong differentiator between those 2 types of courses. I think about like Smash Brothers does like a really good job of like, you can have all of these courses or all of these maps, all these levels, I believe they're called levels, that you can play on, but then you can also do the variation that turns them into like a battlefield or the Omega style.
I think,
exactly. So that they're just like a flat tiered surface or just like a flat surface to play on. And I think an elegant way of explaining that to people would be very, very nice. I think it's a very overcomplicated process right now. And they could have, if it was positioned correctly, been like, there's way more than 32 courses, whatever this actually shipped with. It's more like there's 64 courses, because truly you do cover some of the same territory, but there's some pretty wildly different experiences. Like Wario Stadium 64 barely feels like Wario Stadium 64 in the Grand Prix. It's not until you hop into like a time trial or an online match and pick the traditional 3-lap version that it is, my Wario Stadium 64 when you go to paint. So I think it is a
crazy fumble. It is such a weird thing. That feels like such an easy fix of there be 2 versions of Grand Prix, closed and not closed.
That'd be nice.
Or classic.
Yeah, classic. And it'd be nice. I almost wonder if it could be to where you kind of mix Knockout Tour and Grand Prix, but it's a Grand Prix without the knockout version. So
sure.
You're still going from race to race. You do the in-between stuff because the way they do it now, you do, let's just say Boo Cinema, and then next you do the Sunday one. This is not, these ones don't actually talk to each other, I don't think, but the first lap and a half is the previous course. And then you do the second lap and a half is Boo Cinema. And then for the next one, you do a lap and a half of Boo Cinema. It's like, it's so weird. It's like, why? That makes sense in Knockout Tour, but not in Grand Prix. It's very strange.
Even on night 1, I posted like my reaction or whatever to fucking Rainbow Road, which obviously was incredible and mind-boggling, but like that race actually just starts out in like the water of like the fucking Peach Circuit, and then you do like the 1/5 of it, and then you take the lift to Rainbow Road, and that's where it really started. And
the water gives you some backshot air all the way up.
Exactly. There he is.
Oh, right. Now you understand. That's what you looked up and you were like, it's the air that brings you to Rainbow Road.
Yeah. Some things that y'all didn't cover that I would like changed, Jake.
Sure.
That P switches are always explaining the challenge every time.
Oh,
let me fucking skip it, dude. Like It started to be like a turnoff for me of like, okay, I'm done with this one because it feels in the grand scheme silly. It's like, 3 or 4 seconds. But if I'm having a lot of trouble with one and I see that for the 9th time,
yeah,
I'm so fucking ready to move on. And it's like, I'm never going to 100% the open world. I say that now. Maybe I do. But like with how frustrating some of the challenges are and how often I have to see those fucking instructions, I would love if that could be changed. But then also, if there was some way of seeing progress, like we were saying progress of unlocking other things earlier or stickers, let me see a map of like when I've completed a P-switch. If that's available now and I don't know where it is, someone please save me and tell me.
Because I think the map just shows you the total number that you've completed, which is
that's all it is. So it's like I go to an area and I'm like, okay, I have no idea how many P-switches I've done in this area. I know how many of like the question mark blocks I've hit on specific courses. They track that, but it's like I have no idea. So I could be just driving around wasting my time because I've done the 6 P-switches here, but I won't know. There's no way to track that. So that feels like a really weird kind of fumble from them too.
Revolutionary idea. What if inside the Nintendo Switch 2 app lives another app called Mario Kart Notes that integrates with your game?
Honestly, I would welcome that.
Shit. I wouldn't be surprised if that's on its way, actually. That's with it.
Yeah.
I don't see a year from now the only game taking advantage of that is Zelda. I
agree.
It's too good of technology.
Is very good.
Because if you've not used that yet to look up Korok seeds, it's such a great quality of life improvement.
Yeah.
That whenever I go and
are actually pretty cool too.
Yeah. Whenever I go and do another Tears of the Kingdom playthrough, which I've not done yet, I don't have time right now, but I want to so bad. I will be getting all the Korok seeds with the map because it just feels like such an easy thing to do. And then I came up with this one, Jake, when you and I were streaming together on your channel a little while ago, of multiplayer missions. Like when we're out there, just the fact that you can't do anything other than drive around and start races is wild to me. Whether it's P-switches, question mark blocks, any of that, you're just in a lobby, and that feels like a huge miss. And I really hope that they add that because something I didn't talk a lot about when I was kind of just generally giving my score and stuff is the open world. The more I play this game, the more I agree with the internet at large about how disappointed I am in the open world aspects of the game and how much I wish there was just so much more to it. But that's not what we're talking about. It was what we would add. But
we're already there. We've covered the vast majority of what we're adding. So
for sure. But yeah, that's a huge thing. It's like, just let me do more multiplayer things with structure with people than just the races or just drive around. Even if it like something really simple, like you have 60 seconds to get from this part of the map to the other part of the map, and the first one there wins. Like, how fun would that be? You're just driving around, you see a challenge, kind of like what Noah was suggesting in the chat earlier of how to unlock people. You see those like a gate to drive through. Oh, Jake, you want to go drive through the gate and start this little quick challenge, this speed challenge? Fucking great. I do that nonstop. Now that I have my little fucking Piranha Pete camera, I can have game chat with my camera on at 480p, and we're riding together fucking quarter mile at a time, Jake. But they won't let me.
Piranha Pete is so upsetting. Can you call him his right name?
What did I say?
You said Piranha
Pete.
What's his name?
Petey Piranha.
Piranha Pete sounds good.
And also, that's not Petey Piranha. That's just a piranha plant.
You don't know this. You don't know what my plant is.
Petey Piranha is a distinct
Petey Piranha is a fucking fat fuck from
You don't know.
Super Mario Sunshine.
Maybe he just lost some weight.
We'll get it. What are we talking about Petey Piranha today?
He's on Mario's version of Ozempic, whatever that is.
If I want to call him fucking Petey, I call him fucking Petey. D-Guns get fucked. Noah get fucked. For me, this is Petey. Get over it.
I like that. I do unfortunately like it. Any other additions that you guys can think of? I mean, I think that is an astute observation. The online functionality for the open world is not good. It needs to be improved. And I think like even improving that, making the open world be accessible to like maybe not 24 players, maybe you have to limit it to 2 or 4 or 8 or something like that in order to get into this mode. But to add that functionality, then maybe add some stuff that requires 2 people to do, like you have to do this in unison or switch spots, or it's a race between 2 people where this is literally not available as single player. Could be really, really good.
Or like think of like in games where you have a companion and you can only unlock a door if you're both standing on the plates. Unlock like a little race that you both have. You have to bring a friend to.
In my experience so far with the open world online, the fun has been what you make it, and it's not supplied by the game's functionality. It is from doing dumb things. The most fun that I had in Mario Kart with the whole community was getting everybody on the exact same fucking little dumpy with our cows, and then lining them up for a big fucking shot. And then Patrick, when you and I played, we were both in the open world. We were just doing a pretty fun thing where we searched for the question mark blocks together because those are in there, which was kind of fun.
That's right.
And then we were kind of just both on our own and exploring the world for cool things. And granted, there were less cool things than I would have hoped to explore. Not only were they not that cool, but also the rewards were oftentimes subpar. Like the best you could hope to find is a question mark block, and there's just hundreds of them. However, when there was something to share, I think that it was really cool. Like Patrick's like, oh, okay, I'm coming to you. And I was like, oh, you got to go in this and then go to the left. And then we go in and we end up in this like secret underground area and we explore that together. And there's like a thing down there. Like that was the coolest part,
For sure. And I hope, because I've not done more of that since we did that together. And I hope it's like we found one, I guess light spoilers for the free roam mode of Mario Kart World. We go into a pipe and we go into like what's like 1-2 of Super Mario Bros. Or whatever level that is, where you're like underground in the pipes. Yeah, that one. But there was literally nothing down there. You just go down and there's like maybe there might have been a peach coin, perhaps.
Right.
And then we find another one and there's like some boxes. Mm-hmm. And then we find another one and there's like a Nabbit's down there with his little bag.
Yeah, I found that one.
And then so I'm like maybe really quick to finish my thought, Jordan. Yeah. Maybe that keeps every time you find a new one, maybe like that adds to it. I don't know. I've not gone back to look, but I would hope that there's more than just, oh, this one has a box that you can break. Yeah. Like that's
not enough. Like you need to give us more than just a box to break.
For sure.
I will say that like, yes, I'm not arguing that there are a lot of them because there's not, but I really do love the little Easter eggs that they've been hiding around. Like I think it's close to the Toad Factory, maybe. It's either the Toad Factory or the Mario Kart Speedway equivalent. But I found the little 16-bit Yoshi sticker.
Cool.
And that hit me right in the nostalgia, man. Like, because I'm pretty sure that Yoshi was my main when I was a kid. And so, like, I put it on Instagram. I changed my character to be the new Yoshi and like kind of did a pose right next to the old Yoshi. I was like, this is wild. Like thinking that, tell me 30 years ago what I'm about to be playing for this same, franchise. And it was just a really cool, like little nod. But I talked about it in the initial pod that we did, like the day of Switch 2 launch, that I thought was so cool hitting that P switch. And it's like, oh, it's like a spontaneous race. That's so fun. And then I found maybe one other one, and that's it. And I'm like, that's an addition that I want. I don't want it tied to P switches. I just want there to be, you can already find the other people on the map. So why not have like a spontaneous race? Like if you, instead of changing to the character, how about you teleport to the character and you can challenge them to a race, and then like, maybe not 24, but like more of the characters from the game hop in, and it's a, your own race in that area. And something like that would be really cool, because I'm not going to be that gamer bro who just like, well, this isn't Forza Horizon, but like, that's one thing that was cool for those types of games where it's like, oh, look, there's just a whole bunch of cars that are trying to do a drag race in the middle of the street. Let's just do that real quick and then go on your way. I think that'll be a really good, like, spice it up a bit on the open world map to do that.
Yeah. And like, to add to that a little bit, Jordan, I think maybe this is harder than it sounds, but what if you built the time trial mode into the open world as an option of like, you get to the beginning of any of the courses, you drive through the checker mark beginning of the race, and maybe there's a thing that's like, if you want to do the time trial, just drive through here and it'll like start that, like those kinds of things, where if you can just make a lot of it kind of like synergize a little more, I think it would be nice to be able to, like, what if the open world was just like the main menu in a way where like, when you enter free roam, it takes you from the main menu and it's like very sleek the way that it does it. But like, it'd be cool if you could trigger modes from within the open world as an addition too.
Yes, that would be really cool, actually.
For sure.
I would like that.
I wonder, do we ask too much of Mario Kart World? Because like, I think of like our gripes, and I start to think of like, what's the best like open worlds? And I think of Tears of the Kingdom, but like that game is its open world. And it's so hard to make that comparison for a game whose core mechanic is like racing in multiplayer in unique tracks and things like that. And it sucks that, the game does indeed feel like it's like an afterthought with this, but in reality, it is kind of an afterthought.
Sure.
I think 24 player racing is the main thing, but I fear that maybe maybe our hopes and dreams got ahead of us here, because do we want that if it means a worse racing or online experience? Because I don't want a fully single player Mario Kart experience. That's not exactly what I want that development time to go into, but I don't know. You got Cog.
I love this, Jake. I love this line of thinking, because I know I've brought it up for other games before in the past, where we have this big problem lately of gamers' expectations for things being way outside of the lines of what was actually talked about or promised for the game. And then you're being disappointed that it's not living up to your expectations that were not actually set by the game. You know what I mean? Like, you're setting yourself up for disappointment to expect things that aren't even promised. And I'm not saying that we've gotten too far into that territory. Maybe we're dipping our toes in it, but my go-to example is always going to be Hellblade 2, because everyone's like, well, this wasn't this, and it wasn't some that big sweeping epic 30-hour game. And it's like, they told you from the start, this is a tight narrative, 6 to 8 hour. It's not going to be that much longer than the first game. It's going to have some new tricks up its sleeve as far as the fidelity and the combat has changed and blah, blah, blah. But like, people just get disappointed by what, not to say that you have to like what you're given. Obviously, you're going to have an opinion no matter what it is. But to say that you didn't like something because you wanted it to be XYZ beyond what they told you it was going to be, like, you're just setting yourself up to be disappointed instead of just enjoying what you have. So
I think it's a nuanced thing, though, right? Where I think I think it's with the Hellblade example, not to make this a Hellblade podcast,
yeah,
but I think with
actually.
that, it's the kind of thing where I think that specific criticism is unfair. But then when you think about like, oh, well, it seemed like what they were showing us was going to take the gameplay to this like really big next step, and that didn't happen. So that's when it's like that one to me is fair. And like, oh, well, I felt like, you know, maybe this, but then this happened. So it's like there's definitely some nuance there. And I think,
or like when people say like, for example, maybe it was even you, Patrick, who said like you didn't really get much out of like the puzzle, you know, kind of mechanics. Like that's totally fair because like that is a core element of the game that they talked about being in there, and like you didn't like the execution of what was promised to you. I think that's a lot more fair than saying like it wasn't twice as long as I wanted it to be.
For sure. But I think to bring it back to Mario Kart, I think the expectation versus reality, it's just so tough when Nintendo so often with their pillar franchises always fucking hit. And I think even with like the criticisms that people have of like an Odyssey, a Tears of the Kingdom, these games that so many people consider 10s, I think what I struggle with Mario Kart is like Mario Kart has always had this like big glaring flaw to me, and it's the battle mode. Battle mode worked when all of us were in front of the TV together, 4 controllers plugged in on the N64. Battle mode has never worked, in my opinion, since the N64 version. And like every time it always feels this one works the most it's ever worked for me when we were doing community night and it was everyone against Jake. That was very fun. But it's the kind of thing where for me, it's like when something like Mario Kart introduces a new thing like an open world, I think it is fair to expect that Nintendo would deliver a fucking exceptional open world for Mario Kart World, because that's what Nintendo does. You look at Tears of the Kingdom, you look at Odyssey, basically making 3D Mario an open world game. Granted, it's like open zone, sure, but it's like the way they evolved Mario Odyssey to really embrace this open world structure was so impressive. So it's like, I think it's totally fair. In this example, I think it's totally fair to look at the Mario Kart World open world and be disappointed when there is so much not there. And it's so bare bones when their track record up until this point has been, you take a game, a franchise of the main 4 or 5, and you take it open world. So far, they have not missed. In fact, so far, they have put only Game of the Year contenders out when they go open world. So I think for this specific conversation, that is how I take it. I think there is maybe some over expectation from people, but I think for Mario Kart World, I think it's totally fair, personally.
I like that take. And I mean, to bring it full circle, I mean, we're looking at the DK Bananza, direct, and we're saying the way that they're doing the open world that they're showing us, again, we haven't got our hands on the 6 yet, but the way that they're showing us this open tiramisu world structure of how DK Bananza is going to go, it looks phenomenal. And it looks like a natural, evolution from what DK64 was, 25, 30 years ago. And it doesn't look like it's going to miss. It looks like you said, a Game of the Year contender. So, to
loop in,
any other thoughts on that, Jake?
Yeah, to loop in some of what you guys are saying for, I guess, some of the improvements, I want to just turn to the Discord, of course, dropindropoutpod.com. We'll get you in there. High Score Weekly made a very good point in there, talking about upgrades that included quality of life stuff, but then was kind of pondering, if we're getting new courses and they're going to work on making this open world more dense, how do they do it since everything is a physical space? And then brought up the idea of perhaps building new levels into like the dead space of the world. I think that could be really interesting. I don't know if they have the capacity to do it, but I think of like, maybe this is a really like poor one, but like World of Warcraft Cataclysm, where like some of those areas that were once like barren become areas that have dungeons in them now, or recontextualized to be a different part of the world, or are now raised up or lower, or this place is flooded with water. I think it could be really interesting. A lot of the stuff that we got, like Kayla mentioned what we're about to transition into, which is a perfect segue into some of the cosmetics, talking here about outfits for the characters, and then characters outside of the Mario universe, which will probably be its own little subtopic there as well. Lastly, I think I'm just gonna read Elden Bingus outside of doing the characters named because we're not on characters yet. I just feel like this is pretty much a good summary of everything. Mario Kart World is great. Would love more costumes and characters. I'm pretty sure that they'll release blank redacted. I would really love P-switch tracking system or a hint system. Sonar that would help you locate unbeaten P-switches. Same with the other collectibles. It's kind of hard to track what you have. Local multiplayer free roam would be great too. Absolutely co-signed on all of that for sure.
Jake, you brought up the of High School Weekly's like building things in between. I look at the map here, and it's hard. It's a little. I wonder, can I, if I zoom in because I'm looking at something different? Is it zooming for y'all?
Yeah, it is.
I mean, there's a good bit of open space between all these. I wonder if part of the DLC thing isn't just a new map entirely, but filling in all of this empty space here. I don't know.
Yeah,
that could be interesting.
I think it's entirely possible. I mean, I think of how it's tough. Forza Horizon 5, I'm not sure if you guys ever played the Hot Wheels DLC for that, but the vast majority of it took place in the sky above the existing map with like floating tracks that were all like loop-to-loops and crazy corkscrews and shit like that, which was a really interesting way to do things where you could actually look down and see the world that you were traveling on and had like other things. Sierra says that DLC was amazing. Agree.
I heard.
I'm not sure. I'm not sure how it would end up going. Let's move into the theory crafting part of this, the fun part. Let's talk about what's missing cosmetically. Let's talk about the characters that we may or may not have access to. And I went, as you can imagine, a little overboard, and I started pulling some data, baby. What's missing from Mario Kart World that we've had in other Mario Karts? So I want to just rattle off every single character that is in Mario Kart 8 or 8 Deluxe or the Booster Course pack that has been added to Mario Kart DLC, where if you had the Booster Course and Deluxe, these are characters that you would be able to play as right now. It is all 7 of the Koopalings: Lemmy, Larry, Wendy, Ludwig, Iggy, Morton, and Roy.
They'll come.
Pink Gold Peach, Tanuki Mario, Cat Peach, Gold Mario, Peachette, Kamek. Then you have the guest characters that are from different universes: Link, Villager Boy, Villager Girl, Isabelle, Inkling Boy, and Inkling Girl. Then we also have some retro characters from other Mario Kart that didn't make it into Mario Kart 8 Deluxe or Mario Kart World, which I think are really interesting ones too. They are Paratroopa from Double Dash, Donkey Kong Jr.
From the OG.
From the original. Yep. Rob, who was playable on Mario Kart DS, and Honey Queen from Mario Galaxy that was in Mario Kart 7. Then there is a world of the Mario Kart Tour stuff where there's a lot of variations there as well, but for like actual characters that are present but not, a part of the game. You have Boomerang Bro, Ice Bro, Fire Bro, Dixie Kong, Captain Toad, King Babam, and Poochie from the Yoshi universe. That is everything that has ever been in a Mario Kart game. I ask you all now, what is missing? Patrick, what's missing?
From the list you just said, like who don't we have?
Yeah, well, I guess who would you add to Mario Kart where these are all the characters that, like, it's easy to say, like, bring back everyone, right? Smash Brothers Ultimate everything that I just read, it would be nice to have. But outside of bringing those characters back, where do you see DLC going? Whether that's...
Sure. And like, I think it's a slam dunk to say most of those characters that you just rattled off are going to be in Mario Kart World eventually. The ones that I still am uncertain on is outside of the Mario universe. It seems like they're kind of keeping it within the walls of the Mushroom and Flower Kingdoms, but I could definitely, it'll make sense to add those. But to think who is missing otherwise, now that we're bringing in a couple things, now that we're bringing in enemies a lot more, there's so many enemies in this one, just about any boss should be on the table. Of any Mario game ever should be on the table as a Mario Kart character. I know that's like a really kind of large sweeping thing, but like the rabbits, whatever they are from Mario Odyssey, like all of those kind of characters.
You mean the
like
Broodals?
Yeah, exactly.
I've
Fucking
always
Groodles.
known their
My
name.
favorite.
Fucking, you know who would be fun? Cappy from Odyssey. Just Cappy.
I love that.
Little hat in there. But I don't know. I think for me, it's you go through that whole list and it's like, what's missing now? Because that does kind of cover most of the Mario universe, but not the whole thing.
I get it. Let's stick to no guests for right now. Does anything else?
D-Guns just said EGAD.
Okay, you guys are getting to some really good stuff. So, Breaks 2 brought up that the Miis were also in there, and there were some Mii outfits as well that I think were really interesting. And we'll address those shortly too, because I have those written down here for, okay, well, we've had a Mario Kart connection to these characters or universes. How do we expand on that perhaps? And there are some really good ones coming through. D-Guns mentioned Wart, which is the boss of of Super Mario Brothers 2, Doki Doki Panic, the big green frogman, which is good. Flood, I think, is a great one, or like a variation of Mario with Flood on his back from Sunshine, the worst Mario game. Paper Mario, I think, is great, and you could always go like Paper Luigi, and that opens a can of worms as well, where you could have like Goombario and so many of those like great characters from those first ones. I think that would be great. Cappy is a really good pull. I think EGAD is just like, that's my most I wanted character, probably.
Yes.
All things considered.
Yes. The other thing I was going to say earlier, when I said two things, I didn't say my second thing because I kind of said it earlier, but like now that we have like Teen Pauline, whatever we're calling her,
damn it, Patrick.
That kind of thing. Like, I will be shocked if that version of Pauline doesn't come to Mario Kart World.
Yeah. When I was getting prepped, I was like going back there. I was like, I don't think that there's a baby Pauline in the game, and there's not. So I was like, Teen Pauline is a lock. She has got to be in this game.
It's also worth noting that for main characters, Pauline only has one outfit in this game, and I think Donkey Kong only has one or two. Maybe
he's one. He has one.
So I think,
they're both going to get so many outfits from Donkey Kong Bananza. Ooh.
Yes, exactly. I think that's what we're moving towards. I think we're moving towards, like, I talked about this in the prep, like a Tetris 99 style format of a DLC release, where I don't even think it'll be paid. I think it will be like 3 versions of, to celebrate the release of Donkey Kong Bananza. Here's brand new outfits for Donkey Kong and Pauline and Mario Kart Tour. And if you're a member of the fucking Mario Kart Booster Pass DLC, you got 3 new levels inspired by the worlds of the Iron Ingot City or whatever the fuck it is. Yeah. Underground maps. Yeah, you guys are all over it. Kirby Air Riders release, get Kirby in there. We're starting to talk about the right things. Where I say Tetris 99, I'm not sure if you guys are familiar, but Tetris 99 to this day, when a new game comes out, within a couple of weeks, there is usually a themed Tetris 99 level that is inspired by that game, where all of the little sound effects will be inspired by it, and they'll play one of the songs or 2 of the songs from it. It's very, very cool, and it's very like fan servicey too, surprisingly. Like, it's usually 2 songs. One of them is kind of like your normal idle song, and then when it gets down to like the final 10 players, you get kind of like a sped up, like intense boss battle music if you're playing the Xenoblade map or something like that. And there are sometimes limited releases as well, which is kind of cool, which I am personally of the mind. I don't know how you guys feel about this. This is a little bit off topic. We'll circle back shortly, but I like limited drops. I feel a sense of pride and a sense of flexing nature about me when I have the holiday 2025 Mario outfit during holiday 2028 that nobody else has. I like that. I'm cool with them being like, if you log in during this, you can get the exclusive outfit, and that's not available in the future. I think that's a cool way to do things.
Yeah, that does. I feel like limited drops feels a little Mario Kart Tour to me. I don't know that they would do that in World, but I do wonder, like, there's been a lot of like D-Gun saying Kirby Air Riders means Kirby do that. I wonder if they'll go the route of like tying first party releases kind of across the board. If they do that with Donkey Kong Bananza, I wonder if like Cog would fucking cream his leathers if we get Samus once.
That I would.
That's what I think we're kind of getting towards. Let me finish up my list of like who I wrote for. I put these in like the layups category for like Mario universe characters that it's like, oh, this makes sense. I have Mario and Cappy, Professor.
and then me after you.
Oh, okay. Mario and Cappy, Professor Egad, Toadsworth, Captain Toad, Mallow, and Gino.
Ooh, good.
And then Paper Mario and Luigi were the ones that I was kind of leaning towards here. Carl, go ahead.
I like it. Yeah, my one Mario universe one that I jotted down was Team Pauline. But then like as this conversation went, I got to thinking like, yo, Mario Wonder. They got the little Prince Florian dude. They got the little like people from the kingdom. I forget what their names are. They've got, if you want to talk about actual just brand new characters, those are probably it from that game, because I think everybody else is already represented. Different Yoshis and the Nabbits and the princesses and everybody, but throw some Wonder in there, man. Like that game is
Wonder
so
track would be so cool.
Sure.
Oh,
Elephant
like
Mario
changes.
Yeah, and you like
Wowie,
go through little, it'd have to be scripted to affect everybody, but like you hit a certain part in the race and all of a sudden it's getting the fucking wonder mushrooms.
Oh, dude, that would be so
cool.
good.
Themed stuff. I think when chat was going off about underground map, I don't think they meant maps that take place in the underground. I think they were talking about like a almost depth style expansion to the open world where you could go down there and see what's going on under the area, which would coincide with with Donkey Kong. Might be a little bit too big for our britches, but
it would be too big. I really quickly, I would say what could be a nice meet in the middle is a depths track, just one track, the depths of Tears of the Kingdom as a track.
Oh yeah, that'd be really good.
Yeah.
You could hit the little light route and make it brighter.
Thinking about, obviously you have like your Diddies and Funkies that didn't make the cut this time around that have been in Mario Kart earlier, but I want to talk about the DK universe, which seems to be pushing further and further towards being a part of the Mario universe. And at this point, when you really think about it, depending on where you rank Donkey Kong, even though he is so intrinsically connected already, he is really the only like guest character that is in the game currently in Mario Kart World. But if you really start to push those together, which I think it would be smart to do, there is really a lot of mileage you can get out of that. I have written down here Cranky Kong, King K. Rool, Chunky Kong, Lanky Kong, Tiny Kong, Candy Kong, Wrinkly Kong, Rambi, Squawks, even enemies like critters and things like that, if we're really going to go into like a full-on like Donkey Kong expansion or something like that. Could be pretty interesting.
Yeah, I'd fuck with a Donkey Kong expansion.
Yeah. Let's talk about some other properties and some other IP that could kind of work its way in here. And I separated these in a couple very interesting ways. Now, obviously, we know our guests. They were basically Link. So we have the Zelda universe. We have Villager and Isabelle, which is the Animal Crossing universe. And we have Inkling, which is the Splatoon universes. So there are 3 additional universes that have been playable, selectable characters from the screen in Mario Kart 8. So if we were to expand, I have this category is called guests expanded, right? If those characters came back and we started to expand on those universes and include them further, Zelda, Princess Zelda,
please,
Sheik, right? Ganondorf. I'm not sure how specific you want to get with like a Princess Ruto, or if you just want like a Zora and Gorons and Ritos and Gerudos. I think that you could just do that, like similar to the way that you do like Inkling Boy type of thing. Then how about Tom Nook or some of the other villagers and neighbors that you could get?
Rossetti.
And it's
a fucking layup.
I feel like it's such a layup because the thing about Mario Kart is there's 3 types of characters: small, medium, large. It's not like Smash where you have to like do all sorts of balancing. It's just, are they small, medium, or large?
So
that's it.
Easy.
It's like you could have fucking 300 characters in here. Easy.
Small, medium, and large. How about Big Man from Splatoon? The big stingray looking motherfucker. That's like the guy in the DJ booth or whatever, along with Fry and Shiver, who are the stars of Splatoon Raiders, which was just announced for Switch 2. Would make sense if we're doing like, periodic DLC based on Switch 2 launches. Octolings as well, the Octo Kids or whatever. Then I also have a little thing set by like me outfits. So for first party, we had outfits inspired by Captain Falcon, Herbie, Samus, Fox, and Pikmin.
All of those characters being real characters makes total sense to me.
For sure. To round out
else? Yeah. Shigeru Miyamoto.
Oh my god, give me
as a
Miyamoto. Yeah.
Or how about Miyamoto?
Okay, here's what I want.
Dude. My man.
Playable
My man.
Mario Kart World DLC, playable puppet versions of Iwata, Miyamoto, and Reggie from that E3 conference.
Yes. Easy.
Come on.
That'd be so good. And me form would be so good.
I just thought of variations too. I mean, obviously like Yoshi colors are a thing, but how about Yarn Yoshi and Yarn Poochie?
Yeah,
would
that'd
be
be great.
great. And
So
you could get Kirby as well.
I was
like Epic
thinking
Yarn.
earlier, that reminds me of like versions. So we get Metal Mario, who's, you know, it's still kind of like in the version of like, he's still basically just Mario, but as Metal. But what if they took that a step further where like in Smash, you get Link and Toon Link. If you get like Tanuki Mario, but from Super Mario Brothers 3, or like specific, like in that kind of like cell shading, or not cell shading, but you know what I'm saying?
Dude,
like that could be really cool.
They have 8-bit Mario Kart Tour. If you ever want a trip, I think I've talked about this once on this podcast in like the first couple episodes. Go and find like the Mario Kart Tour wiki of fucking costumes and characters that they have. They're not costumes technically, because it's a fucking mess. It's a microtransaction role for your character nightmare over there. But there are so many variations of characters that are so fucking good. You have those alley-oops like Dr. Mario, Dr. Luigi, and Baby Mario and Baby Wario and all those things. But then they also have throwbacks. Like, I remember I downloaded Mario Kart Tour like a year and a half ago again to see if it would click. Like, I was like, oh, this game's still supported. I should see what's going on. And I got in there and they were having a fucking throwback event where the 2 characters that you could unlock with the rolls, and you know how it is, it's a freemium game. So I got in there and they're like, welcome back. Here's fucking 10 boosters and a bunch of gems. Why don't you go buy some stuff and remember how good it feels to open stuff? And maybe after you open stuff, you'll want to open more stuff and give us money. And I didn't, but I did open like 10 or 12 packs, you know, based on what they gave me. 8-bit 16-bit Super Nintendo sprite Donkey Kong Jr. in that game. Like, dude, you could fucking easily give us 16-bit versions of all of these, or 64-bit versions of all of these fucking characters. That would make me go absolutely fucking crazy.
Or just their character model from those games.
Yeah,
from the Mario Kart games.
You literally take the model. If you haven't lost the source code, you're there.
I literally wrote, even if they don't add more Nintendo characters, at least give us some Odyssey outfits or classic outfits. Almost certainly going to give us new DK and Pauline outfits. Like, for sure. Yeah. To go, like, it's so rich, the history of like all the different outfits and the looks and the, come on, it's a gold mine.
It's a great segue. Chad is talking about like, it's crazy that there's no amiibo support in Mario Kart World, which is fucking insane, actually. Not
also giving Samus, but continue. Yeah,
of course. Well, I want to talk a little bit about, there is my initial pitch. You guys remember this? I've talked about this at length. Was I don't think the next Mario Kart should be Mario Kart. I think it should be like Super Smash Kart, or at least inspired by it, where it's not only other Nintendo universes, but also bring like Ken and Ryu and Solid Snake and Crash Bandicoot and characters we've never seen before, Bomberman,
Sam Porter Bridges,
into this universe. Yeah, exactly, that kind of thing. And that doesn't seem to be the case. But back in the day, for the Mii outfits in Mario Kart 8, you can get a Sonic outfit, you can get a Pac-Man outfit. Pac-Man playable in the Namco developed Mario Kart arcade games, for the record, also playable in Everybody Golf Hot Shots, and Mega Man were also available in Mario Kart 8. So I don't want to delve too much into the third party because we'll be here all day just talking about our favorite video game characters and pop culture characters that could be in there. But I think those are really interested as well. To recap, the Mii outfits from different universes that were included were Captain Falcon, Kirby, Samus, Fox, and Pikmin inspired. So Olimar, I believe, is on there as well. I made one last list.
Yeah.
Of basically, it includes the Mii outfit ones as well. I called this the Smash Legends list, where these are universes that exist in Super Smash Brothers. They are first party only, so I didn't include Street Fighter or, you know, any like Final Fantasy stuff. But these are universes that haven't been touched on for Mario Kart, and I think should, because they were touched on for Smash. And I think if we're going a full Nintendo celebration, you have the F-Zero universe, Pikmin, Pokemon, Mother, Earthbound, Kirby, Metroid, any fans? Star Fox, Kid Icarus, Fire Emblem, Game & Watch, Wii Fit, Punch-Out, Xenoblade, ARMS, and Duck Hunt.
There's only a couple of those that I think make sense to me. There a lot of those I don't think make sense personally.
Sure. Which one doesn't make sense to you the most?
The most Fire Emblem.
Yeah, I get it. Fire Emblem
That would be
Xenoblade,
crazy to put in Mario Kart, I think.
but I also think that like fucking Captain Falcon is kind of a stretch too, and the Blue Falcon was in Mario Kart 8 as like a drivable vehicle, and fucking Captain Falcon was a Mii outfit. So I don't.
Well, there was also a Mercedes Benz in the last
You
Mario
gotta
Kart.
bring
So
that fucking thing back. That was so sick.
this one, it'll be a Rivian is going to be the deal that they make.
Is that Mario Kart? Is that DLC locked to Wii U Mario Kart 8?
No.
Or is that in Mario Kart 8?
It was in Deluxe.
It's in Deluxe.
Cool.
I mean, like I personally don't think Fire Emblem makes any more or less sense than having Link drive around in a car. If you're just talking about like the believability of someone in the universe, like because they added Link before he had his weird motorcycle in Breath of the Wild. So like,
yeah, no, I think to push back on that a little bit, I feel like the difference is that Zelda is like one of their true core pillars, and I don't think
gotcha.
It's like next tier to me. So in that same vein, Samus makes sense to me. Metroid is one of their pillars. Fire Emblem, I don't think is a pillar. It's like just below pillar status for me.
I'm with you.
It's like the base of the pillar.
Yeah,
you know?
Like, it gets like a shout out. Maybe we get a Fire Emblem sticker, but I don't know that we get characters or tracks or things like that.
Yep, for sure. All right. I want chat. If you can only have one character, tell me your character added to the game. Any character that makes sense that we've like talked about the, universes for right now that would make sense for Mario Kart World. Who are you adding? And then I want you two to give me 3 that you can bring over off of the wish list. I'm going to give you my 3 right now. They're very, very simple. I want to race as Tom Nook. I want to race as Professor Egad. And I want to race as Dixie Kong.
That's very good. Very good list. Jordan, because I stole so many from you, I'll let you go.
No, you're good. Again, like, I'm going to say Samus for sure. I think that'd be a lot of fun. Princess Zelda, whatever form that takes, please get her in there with it. I didn't prep for third one, man.
Teen Pauline. Take Teen Pauline.
Oh, Teen Pauline.
Teen Pauline, yeah.
Wow, great pick.
Great pick. For me, Metal Mario.
Yep.
Metal Mario is my main, and I know it's not really on the dream list because we've had it, but Metal Mario was my main in 8, so I want Metal Mario back. And then to add 2 new ones, I would say Cappy. I think Cappy's a fun idea.
Cappy's good.
And then I would also add, I think the most unlikely Toon Link would be fun. Instead of normal Link.
Yeah, actually, I will have a curveball. I'll throw out Teen Pauline because she's pretty much guaranteed anyway, and give me Prince Florian from Wonder.
Nice,
that'd be fun. Little
worm. Who the fuck is Prince Florian? Oh yeah, I forgot about that. Mario Wonder rules.
Dude.
Breakstew in the chat said, personally, I would like Mario, which is very good
pick.
And base. Yep, a great answer. Ness from High Score Weekly, I think is very good.
Yep.
That's the most High Score Weekly answer possible. I love it.
For sure. And then D-Gun said Banjo, which would be fun.
Ooh.
Yep. Banjo, good. We love it. Baby Metroid with a binky like this and shows our sweet, sweet emote. Very good. Hey, I got to thank both of you.
Sorry.
Go.
Geist. Oh. How about Geist?
Oh, bring Geist back, dude.
GameCube game.
Bring back... I want Odama characters in there, bro. Not enough.
I want to be a cannonball.
Yeah, for sure. Cannon pinball. I gotta thank both of you. Cog, thanks for stepping in the final hours here to make it happen. We did a good 40 minutes, just the two of us. Also, I think it was a very good proof of concept for my other show that I pitched at the beginning, the show within the show.
I'm so locked in for that.
A duo thing, which is really rad. So, Cog, thank you so much for being here. Patrick, I know you're busy as fuck. Thanks for making some time to hang out on Dido. Our sweet, sweet chat. We love you oh so much. Thank you guys for spending time with us on a Thursday night, as you always do, and for pitching in on the Dido Discord. Thank you to our VOD watchers who are listening to this on YouTube in the future. Make sure you like and subscribe. And shout out to our podcast listeners who I live inside of your ears, and I like it there. But come hang out live if you so desire. You never have to, but it's always appreciated. We're just happy if you're consuming our stuff in any way. There's some people that are only fans of us on social networks with our little shorts, and that's okay too, because it all helps move the needle. Drop in, drop out is going somewhere, and we're going somewhere pretty quickly. Love to see it. Any final words? Anything that I'm forgetting from either of my co-hosts here?
No, I don't think so. I think you're perfect. I think don't change other than the vile shade.
You're so right. Well, in that case, let's all wave at the camera and say goodbye until the stream ends. Bye.